Welcome to the Sleevy G Show. I'm your host for your most. My name is Gomez, and tonight, like every night on the Sleevy G Show, I do have a wonderful special guest. Please welcome country singer, and I could say superstar because I can, because I think everyone's a superstar when they come to my show, Sheri Rowe. Sheri, how are you tonight?
I am wonderful. Thanks for having me on the show. I appreciate it.
I appreciate you coming on the show because it's kind of funny. I was not a huge country guy maybe about 10 years ago.
Okay.
And I grew up listening to hip hop. I'm from New Jersey, by the way.
I was born in New Jersey.
Were you really?
Yes. I
Where?
moved out to Arizona when I was two, so
Okay.
I'm Arizonan.
Yeah.
My family, it has really kept some of the culture alive, and I have a very strong connection to New Jersey. I was born in Somerville.
Oh, okay. So Somerville's not far from where I live.
Okay.
I'm about 35 minutes away from Somerville.
Okay, no
So I'm,
way.
I'm in Morris County. So it's a win-win.
Okay.
So
There you go.
it's a small little world. But as you know, if you heard about New Jersey, it's a lot of hip hop and rock and Hispanic influences.
Yeah.
So when I heard country for the first time many, many moons ago, it was like, are you kidding me? Who
Yeah.
listens to this?
Yeah.
And I will say that because I wasn't really into country. And then I heard one song from Garth Brooks,
Mm-hmm.
Thunder Rolls.
Thunder Rolls. That's a good song.
It's a classic, one of my favorites. You know what I mean? And then I'm like, all right, I could do this.
Yeah. Yeah.
As I got older, I got into some of the other popular names, Shania Twain, of course.
Yeah.
Um, Jelly Roll Now, Luke
Sure.
Combs, Eric Church.
Yeah.
There's so many to name. Keith Urban, Blake Shelton. Again, another. Again.
Yeah.
But then Kane Brown, another one. Kane Brown. All these names.
Yeah.
And then I'm listening to your music. And matter of fact, I just got done interviewing another wonderful person. Her name is Thea Lisi.
Okay.
She's from Louisiana, but I think she's now based in Nashville.
Yeah.
And she's got a fantastic voice where you could put her up there. Now I'm going to say with you, her, T Swift,
Oh.
and also Shania, because you guys
Wow.
have this voice
Mm.
that has this. You guys bring in this, like I said, you have the country, but you got this, I don't know, swag about it that you guys have your own versions.
Well, I appreciate that. Those are kind words. I appreciate that.
And
Yeah.
that's coming from being a guy, who didn't like country 10 years ago and
Yeah.
who loves
Yeah.
country now, you know what I mean? Like I could sit here, it's kind of funny. Like I was talking to Thea on Friday, which this episode will air before hers because she's getting a release on the 30th of May.
Nice.
So, and it was kind of funny. I was just saying that, and I have like my my list, and right before I was listening to Beach Town. So,
Oh, yay. Nice.
so it was kind of funny, you know what I mean? But you have some amazing songs. Night Riding is another good song I like.
Thank you. Yeah, night riding is special to me. Yeah, that's that one. That one it's funny because even though it's slower,
Hmm.
we always throw it in when we're doing like these, high energy shows, full band, dance floor, all that. And I don't announce that it's my song, because when we're doing these 4-hour sets, we're doing covers too,
Right.
obviously. And I'm weaving my songs in between. And night riding always like you can feel the room change. Like there's just
Hmm.
something about that song, and that's why I still keep it in the live sets even when we're doing those long cover nights because people slow dance to it. You can just feel like there's just a shift. And musicians appreciate it because it's in 6/8, so they get to play something different.
So there, yeah, they're not playing all the same. I get it.
Yeah.
It's funny. I've been to a lot of shows growing up, and I always loved watching like Linkin Park. That was one of my favorite bands
Oh
growing
yeah.
up.
Yeah.
Linkin Park, Metallica was another one.
Yeah.
Hip hop, I was lucky to see Naughty by Nature because they're Jersey based.
Yeah.
Wu-Tang Clan, I seen a few of those when they had the Hot
Yeah.
97 days.
Uh-huh.
So for me, growing up and hearing that type of music and then getting into country, which is kind of funny because like I hear Jason Aldean,
Yeah.
Jason Perry. There's Morgan Wallace is another great one. Like I said, there's a lot of great.
Yeah.
One thing I love about country now that I miss that hip hop. stopped,
Mm.
mostly there was a story to tell.
Yes. Yep. That's the mark for country music. At least
Mm.
it always has been. That's like home base
Mhm.
for music, the story.
And I can say that because now, like the music of today is a little bit different, of course.
Hmm.
It's political, it's
Yeah,
not, it's PC'd.
I know.
And I feel like musicians like yourself and people who I've interviewed, I feel like you guys are getting handcuffed a little bit.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. So I'm putting new music out. It's starting at the end of summer. I'm gonna start dropping singles for a new EP. And
Mhm.
after, we were talking a little bit before we were on live,
Mhm.
about how life takes you through different seasons,
Oh yeah,
And this last year has been a challenge for me in a lot of different ways, losing my mom and then just going through some different stuff
which I'm
that
sorry about
think,
that. I know how that is. I lost my dad 20 some odd years ago now.
yeah, I'm
So,
sorry. That's hard.
and it still hurts to this day.
Yeah, absolutely. My dad passed a little over 20 years ago as
Okay,
well.
so,
And
so
so I
we're in the
get,
same boat. Yeah.
yeah, we are. And life happens to all of us. And coming back to that story,
Mhm.
I think you're right. The industry has been kind of setting a standard for what the singles should be,
Mhm.
subject matter, all that. It's kind of been a smaller box in
Yeah.
recent years. But I'm really starting to see a trend. People are wanting to kind of swing that pendulum back to authenticity again. And
Yeah.
we're kind of seeing some old school country sounds, popular with Ella Langley. And,
Mm.
we're kind of seeing a shift. And for me personally, I had to be more vulnerable in my lyrics this time. There were things that I wanted to talk about and ways that I wanted to say them that, they may not be the cookie cutter commercial way to say it, you
Right.
know?
No, I understand what you're saying about that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So,
There's not an easy way to say it, but you're gonna say it.
right, right. So, this new project, I'm trying to be a little more vulnerable because I
Okay.
feel like I've been talking to some other writers and other artists who are kind of following that same path and they're in that same season and they're realizing, each artist has their audience
Hmm.
and you may have the superstars who have the formula and the formula is working for them and the label backs it because they're all working on this formula together.
Right.
When it works, for us as independent artists, we have our crowd, we have our fan base.
Hmm.
And I think it's more important than ever that we let them see who we really are. And I think that's how I'm going to build true fans.
And that's one thing, like for me in my show, I
Yeah.
don't like, I tell everybody I don't edit. I let everything go through. Why? Because of authenticity.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was telling Thea, you can see the emotions. She's a great example. You can see the emotions of her and what she has overcome as a young lady, as a country singer, as a songwriter, and as a dance studio owner too. So,
Wow.
you know, and yourself too. So I love to see that because it connects with other people.
Yeah,
You,
absolutely.
for me, I praise mental health a lot because I have my own issues too, just like everybody else does.
Yeah, we all do.
And one thing is I tell people I do seek therapy. I
Yeah.
do talk to somebody because sometimes it's hard to bottle it up, and sometimes as much as I love my wife,
Yeah.
I need another opinion sometimes because you just, because sometimes your significant other gives you a biased answer when you really
Yeah.
need a different answer.
It's
So
true.
there's little things like that that really like changes, and you're trying to make life happen, and that's something I respect.
Yeah. I think even you talking about mental health, that's something I mentioned too. And, I have a co-writer and collaborator, and he talks about it a lot too. And I think it, people are going through stuff, and when they see or hear someone talking
Hmm.
about a platform like this, a lot of times you just never know. Like you could be reaching that one person who
Hmm.
felt they were alone,
Yeah,
and I think, it goes way beyond uh, the moment that you're in,
yeah.
and who knows, where that's going to go. And I think,
Exactly, and that's something I feel strongly. I've had, I support people with diabetes because I'm a type 2 diabetic. I've known a lot of people with autism, and I'm a huge supporter of that. But the big
yeah,
one is the mental health because, sometimes you do need to back off a little bit.
Yep, absolutely.
You know,
Yeah.
as a songwriter, as a worker of music, as a country singer, I mean, you have to take breaks too sometimes, you
I
know?
think, yeah, I think we all do. I think um, now making music and playing shows is very therapeutic for me. It's a
Hmm.
release for me. It's an outlet. I'm much happier when I have a regular schedule of
Hmm.
being out with the band. My husband plays bass in the band, so we
Oh,
get
okay.
to together.
You guys are together, so
Yes,
he's
yeah.
in the
And
band too, so that's cool.
yeah, and we have a studio in our house, and we're also co-hosting. Well, I co-host a radio show
Oh,
every
nice.
Sunday night here in Arizona on 96.3, and he produces the show, edits it down. So we have a lot going on, and I love all that.
Hmm.
But there are times you got to kind of just scale back and just be with your core people, whether that's your family or
Hmm.
friends, whoever those people are. Sometimes you got to just like kind of shut out the noise, take some deep breaths,
Yep. And
reset.
that's something I'm learning now. And the thing is, what I need is the support is from my family, which they give me 100%.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
You
Yeah,
know, I started this venture on my own. I had a partner in podcasting,
yeah,
and we took a hiatus, and then I was getting bored. I was like missing it, and my wife gave me her blessing,
yeah.
and she goes, "You have two options. You can either go back playing pool, which I love
Uh-huh.
playing billiards," and I'm like, "All right," but then there's late
Yeah,
nights, there's drinking involved, and I got to wake up
yeah.
early for the next morning for work. Not the greatest idea,
The greatest scenario.
but I love to talk and I love to meet new people.
Uh,
I'm going back to podcasting on my own.
love it. Yeah,
And I don't regret it. I mean, I love what I do. I love reaching to new people. I love
yeah.
talking to new people because you get different insights of life.
I love it too. Yeah, I'm definitely a people person. I mean, that's what drives me even as an artist, on stage. I'm making eye contact. I'm trying to find those people who are in that moment with
Mhm.
me, and meeting people after shows and even online when people send me messages, like I love that. I love, finding out, oh, you were listening to that song and this meant this to you, or I've met so many teenagers and young people who have come to my shows in different states across the country, and
Mhm.
we connected, on Instagram or whatever, and I'll get messages from them. They're having a hard day at school, and
Yep.
it's like that means so much to me. Something that goes beyond the show.
Hmm. So I totally agree with you on that because a great example today, my daughter had a dance competition,
Aw,
and one of the ladies who I actually interviewed in my show, her daughter is. Matter of fact, I just followed you now on Instagram
nice.
because I forgot to, I'm gonna say it like a dumbass. And and then she goes, "Hey," and I was like, "Oh, what's up? What's going on?" And and she's like, "Oh, my daughter's got her first competition," and I was so excited for her. And she goes, "Oh my God, I cannot wait." I'm like, "Just take a breath. You're nervous.
Yeah,
I get it. I was there last year." And
yeah.
she's a great person, just like everybody I know. I mean, like I keep in touch with her. I've met some wonderful people and singers like yourself because you never know. Like for me, it's a connection to know if they need something, they can contact me through
Yeah,
anything. Some of them have my phone number, some reach me through Instagram or
right.
email.
Yeah,
You could say, "Oh, Alex, I got a new song that's coming out. I need to come on your show, and can you help
yeah.
me promote?" I have no problem doing that because it gives me an opportunity to hear the song and it gives you the opportunity to talk about it because
Yeah. It makes
again,
a difference. It does.
it does make a difference,
Yeah,
especially, here in the East Coast where you might not be getting everybody out this way. You know what I mean? You might
right.
be getting South and West, but what about
Yeah,
East? You know,
right.
so
It all
that
counts
it all counts. That's the way I look at it. You know what I
for
mean?
sure.
For me as a podcaster, listen, if I always tell people, if I can get that one listener, I'm excited.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
absolutely. I mean, I feel the same way about my music. It's like every fan, every listener, every stream, it
Yeah.
all it all matters. It's all part of building all of this up and building those relationships.
Yeah, and that's important because you just don't know. Like, I try to build relationships with everybody because they might say, "Hey, can you help me out with something?"
Yeah,
And there's going to be one day they're going to owe. me a favor or they're going to return something back, you know what I mean, tenfold.
Sure.
And I mean, it hasn't happened yet. I'm still waiting for some of those, but I'm fine with it. You know, it's fun, but
Yeah.
I'm fine with it because then I know I can go back and say, "Hey, remember when you did that episode and you said I owe you one?" You know, and I kind of
Yeah.
have it. And can you just like, can you do something cool for me? You know, I'm not.
Right.
You know, it's kind of funny. There's some podcasters that are out there that are asking people like yourselves, "Oh, could I get an autograph and you mail it to me?"
Yeah.
I don't ask for that because it's not my right. If they,
No.
you know, this is the way I look at it. If they want to offer something at the end of the show to me
Sure.
after, I'm grateful for it.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
if
Totally.
I don't like bothering because as a musician, you have things to do too.
Sure. Yeah, we all do. We all do.
You know, and I kind of feel bad to ask for anything like that because I don't think it's right. It's not my position.
Well, I don't know. I mean, as far as like on my end of it, like I don't ever mind at all when somebody asks, it's like, even this weekend we played a show and we had
Mhm.
a crowd in the VIP section. Somebody was having a birthday
Oh, nice.
and I sang Southern Spells and when I sang it, I went over and I gave her a shirt,
Oh,
a
cool.
spell shirt. And she was, it's one of those things. It's like you just never know. Like sometimes it's just a shirt, but sometimes, she was so grateful and she put it on over her tank top and she wanted to get a picture with me. And it made me feel so good that
Hmm.
something so simple made her so happy.
To be
And we
honest,
built a relationship over that, you
it's
know?
kind of funny. Even to getting a high back from anybody for me
Yeah.
is meanings that means a lot to me. I actually had a Bravo TV reality star on my show already.
Wow.
So, because of that, we talk to each other a little bit here and there on Instagram saying, "Hey, how you doing?" Things like that. And that just means
Yeah.
more to me than anything
Yeah.
because don't get me wrong, autographs are cool, getting free stuff is cool, but that's
Yeah.
not me.
Right. I
You
know
know,
I'm the same way. I
I,
like I give everything away.
but I appreciate anything though, but I do appreciate anybody taking their time to come on my show because that's my gift.
Wow, that it is a gift, honestly. It
You
is.
know,
And I know because I host the radio show and we try to highlight up and comers who are from here in Arizona
mhm.
and we give them a platform and I know all the work that goes into, getting these shows together. It's not
It's not
nothing.
easy. It's a grind. I mean, I've been at this now 2 years. So I sorry I do this because I had to actually think about it. It's been 2 years.
Yeah.
I started with no list. I took some shots on Instagram with some of the New Jersey celebrities.
Yeah.
I took some shots at a couple of emails I was able to grab. Actually, it's kind of funny. I just went online and I just looked at some of my favorite bands. I took a couple of shots here and there.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, did I get denied? Yes.
There's always no's.
And there was actually not a few no's. There's just no replies.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah.
But then I'm not, I'm very persistent. I don't, when someone doesn't email me, I give it a month.
Yeah.
I'm like, hey, a month ago I emailed you and
Yeah.
no reply.
Uh-huh.
2 weeks later, hey, I emailed you. I'm just following up to see how everything is going
Yeah.
and just seeing, no reply. 2 weeks later, hey, I'm still trying to see how everything's going. And then, no, then I go, then after, a month, I go then weekly. Hey, I'm just sorry to bother you. I really am. But I was just kind of curious to see
Right.
if you have any time, even if it's
Right.
15 minutes. Uh,
Yep.
and they're like, oh, we're so sorry. We appreciate you emailing several times.
Yes.
But he is super busy or she's super. I'm like, that's all I need to know.
Yeah, honestly, I appreciate that effort. I mean, I think anytime, because, my husband and I have built businesses even outside of music,
Mhm.
so that persistence pays off. I mean, if you can, it's like you're still doing it in a graceful way. You're just
Mhm.
being consistent, and
That's one thing. I'm
goes
not.
back old school squeaky wheel gets the grease. So
Yes. It's kind of funny. That's a good one. I do like that one. I like that. But the thing is, it's like people. There are some podcasters that push,
yeah,
but me, I'm grateful for
yeah,
anybody who comes on the show because it's
yeah,
an honor. You know,
yeah.
to have a wonderful singer like yourself. Like I said, you
Mhm.
have an amazing voice, an amazing platform with your music.
Thank you.
And you and your husband have that radio show that's going on too. So
Yeah. It's a
you
lot of
know,
fun.
yeah, and you know how it is. Like you guys have more connections than I do,
Yeah,
but
it's
it's intense because I'm not sure if he's reaching out to people or both of you are, but it's not easy.
it's not easy. And you're trying to we record at our studio here at the house,
Hmm.
and we try to, get like 4 shows recorded at, at a time. We had a schedule, but
Hmm.
I mean, people have lives, and so you're constantly we're all reaching out to people. I say we all because my manager Dennis Petty and his wife Diana and I are the 3 hosts, and Kevin
Oh,
edits.
okay. Okay.
So we've got a couple other people working with us, and the station owner, Mike Barna, is, totally behind us, gives us the 7 o'clock hour every night, and
Okay.
huge footprints, an FM station, and they're online too. And so we've got a lot of people kind of in our corner, but it's scheduling and filling up that calendar, making sure those shows are ready in time.
Hmm.
It's
It's not easy. Like I just
not
like I said,
nothing,
I took a
but
two
it is
month.
an honor. It is an honor to have that
Yeah.
ability to reach those people.
I mean, I'm still, trust me, I'm still trying to reach more people. I'm still trying to get names.
Yeah.
I'm, luckily, I got to give a little bit of props of Anna to KR.
I
Uh,
love Anna.
she's amazing. This is her, I think my third time interviewing somebody from
Aw.
her place, which is an amazing thing.
Yeah.
And, it's kind of funny. I was like, I forgot to reach out to her. It's like, hey, Anna, I just want to make sure everything is good because when I don't hear replies on emails, I know
Yeah.
we're fine.
Sure. Yeah.
So I know she does a little different, which I don't mind. But I had the competition today, and
Yeah.
and it's kind of funny because you would know as a host, you have a list of questions,
Uh-huh.
and you have everything typed out. Me, I don't have anything. I just look at my
Yeah.
phone, and I'm like, oh, hey, by the way, but that's how I operate because
Hey, you're in your lane, you're doing it the way you do it. That works for you. That's great.
and that's the thing. Yeah, everyone's different. Like, I've had people go like, wow, your interview's totally different. There's a
Yeah.
reason why, because I'm not a stiff.
I love that though. I like the organic nature of that.
Mhm.
It kind of unfolds the way it's going to go.
Yeah,
I like,
exactly.
yeah.
And it's kind of funny. Like, there was one question I do have to ask,
Yeah.
but it is about the music. Who were your musical influences when you started thinking about going into music?
It's very diverse. So, my brother is almost 20 years older than me. So he listened to classic rock. So,
Okay.
I mean, the Eagles, Boston, Foreigner, Journey, it's like,
All the groups I like too. Yep, I
yeah,
got you.
great, great music, and I love how, like, especially the Eagles, the harmony. I
Hmm.
love harmony. And my sister-in-law and I actually sang in church for a while. And
Okay.
then we got a record deal and we toured singing contemporary Christian music all across the country. Did that for a spell. And then, when that was done and we kind of we didn't go our separate ways, but, musically speaking,
Yeah.
that's been ended. Country music was where I landed because that's also my dad listened to Patsy Cline and Waylon
Hmm.
and Billy, and we go for drives in Arizona when I was little when there was just nothing but alfalfa fields and citrus, and just like it, just nothing for
And
miles.
Arizona is not just all desert, folks. There are mountains and it does
Yes,
snow at
there
some points
are.
of Arizona. Just let's keep
It's,
that in mind, okay?
it's true, yeah.
It's
So we
never
go,
always hot.
no, right. And we'd go driving and I'd be in the back seat just hearing all this classic country
Mhm.
music and Johnny Cash. And so I feel like mostly the classic rock and the old country is really that's kind of what resonates with me,
Mhm.
as far as what I heard growing up. But then, in school I started singing. I've been singing since I could talk, and we
Okay.
were always putting on shows for the family in the living room, making up stories. And during the week, we grew up in the city
Right.
and just out in Phoenix, but
Mhm.
grew up in not a great part of town, to be honest. And so my weekdays in school, like, it was kind of rough.
Right.
And on the weekends, I'd go over to my brother's house and he had horses. So the weekends I was just taking off and I was following the riverbed or the canal bank and I was out of there.
You're
So I
you were you
was
were you were gone and you were found later when the dinner bill was coming.
yes, exactly. When that sun was setting and
Yep.
they were making a fire, my brother was barbecuing. It was like those. those weekends were when I really felt most like myself. And
Hmm.
I feel like country music was just an obvious place to land. I feel like it's in the backdrop of Arizona. I feel like this is the Wild West. It's
Yeah.
open, it's free. I don't know, that's just we go camping up, like as you said, the mountains in Arizona are beautiful. We
Oh
have the
yeah, they
largest
are.
ponderosa pine forest in the world. And some up in the White Mountains, it's like 9, 10,000 feet elevation. And we'd go up to the mountains all the time. And country music and Arizona and the West, that's just where I landed. So my influences were kind of diverse growing up. And then as I kind of started writing on my own
Hmm.
and finding myself as a songwriter, I'd say, like Miranda Lambert for sure. I feel
Okay.
like she is, she's really great at delivering a vulnerable
Hmm.
uh, vocal. Um,
Agree.
like she's able to have like this brokenness in her voice and still have this like beautiful pitch and control and timbre to her
Hmm.
voice. And so she's somebody I look up to. I also look up to her because Natalie Hemby writes with her a lot. And
Okay.
I'm a big fan of songwriters. Like we spend a lot of time in Nashville and I love to meet artists. But when I find a songwriter playing somewhere in some little spot and around, I'm like,
You're there. Your
I'm
attention.
fanning, over that. But yeah, Natalie Hemby for sure is one of my all-time, like that would be a bucket list thing to write with her.
Oh wow.
That would be
So
fun.
so we know who you want to write with.
Yeah,
Now, if you had a choice, so I asked this the last time with Thea, but I'm gonna ask you too.
yeah,
If you had an opportunity to collaborate with two people,
okay,
one female, one
yeah.
male,
Oh,
who would it be?
oh my gosh. Well, I mean, Miranda Lambert for sure. I would love to collaborate with her on something. I think it'd be fun to do some with Lainey
Okay.
Wilson. Yeah, who like that would be.
That'd be kind of cool. I'll give you the.
I love that because my band is really high energy. I mean, I've got players. I mean, my lead player, Alan, he was a metal shredder before he was a country picker, and he's phenomenal, right? My drummer, everybody's just all in, and I love that energy, and I feel like she has that live energy,
Mm,
her shows. So I would love that. Um, you mentioned Keith Urban earlier.
yes.
I've always been a fan, and I love again the high energy and his
Yes.
emotion. When somebody can deliver the energy and the performance and the emotion, I mean that's everything you need, right? To make
Hmm.
that connection. And he always does
He
that. And
drives it home.
he's a fabulous player. I love that his songs, they're country, but they're also pop rock
Hmm.
country. And he just shreds and he just leaves it all on the stage.
Yeah,
So
he does.
he does, right? So
He does. I will say that. I've not seen any of his shows, but when I do see him play live on
mm,
TV, you see him play the guitar. You see him sing his heart out, just
oh,
like so many great musicians, you know.
crazy. Yeah, we were at the Ryman for an event and Keith Urban was playing and then Chris Stapleton came out and then Vince Gill came out and they were all just shredding with each other. And I'm
Oh
like,
my God, that like
what is happening right
talk
now?
about a monumental moment. Wow.
Yeah, I'm like, I can't handle this. This is too good.
I've been to Nashville twice my whole entire life, and that's because of work. And I'll tell you this. I was just, it's kind of funny. I was just talking to my wife about this. Like, I would love to go back to Nashville, not just because of the food, but
Yeah.
oh my God, the barbecue's so good down there.
Oh, I know. It really is.
And also, my favorite whiskey is Jack Daniels, too, on top of that.
See, yeah.
And,
Gotta go back.
but I stayed at the Grand Ole Opry,
Yeah.
and I said, hey, how far is downtown from here? They're like, about 20 minutes. I'm like,
Yeah.
Cabot. Let's go, guys. Where are we going?
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, let's just go. I keep hearing about Nashville downtown. I know we're going tomorrow night to the arena, to the hockey arena. We're going to the Predators
Yeah.
arena.
Yeah.
And right by Predators arena is the Titans home.
Yep.
And then literally the Titans home is next to downtown.
Oh yeah. Right on
So
Broadway.
so right on Broadway. So I just said, let's just go and experience the night.
Yep.
There were so many bars.
Uh-huh.
And you can walk literally. I feel like Broadway is shut down for people to walk down the street
Yeah.
because the music was blaring out of every single
Yeah.
bar.
Yeah. Every corner. Like you literally you just take a couple steps and it's a different band. Couple more steps, a different band. Yeah.
And it was funny. Two big names were playing that weekend, that night, and I didn't know about it. One was Blake Shelton,
Hmm.
and the other one was Garth Brooks.
Man.
And I walked into Garth Brooks when he just started Thunder Rolls. So to see that live was was
Wow.
like, this is what it started for me, and this is how it's going to start again for me.
That's amazing.
So for me to hear it live, and I wish I was able to get up to him and just tell him, because of him.
Yeah.
And this song is the reason why I got attracted to country music.
Oh, yeah, I know. That's
And
amazing.
so, but now it's like I have a great diverse love for everyone who comes out. Jelly Roll's another one, Luke Combs,
Oh,
Eric
yeah.
Church too. I
Hmm.
mean, I kind of disappeared, and we and my old show, Playlist Wars, we had to do a top 10 of Eric Church songs, and
Uh-huh.
I guess I was the non-country guy. The other
Oh,
two were huge, but somehow
yeah.
my list wins because I went through a different perspective of
Oh,
music.
that makes sense. Yeah.
So, but the funny thing is, like yours and like Thea and Garth and Miranda Lambert, Shania. One thing I could tell you this by listening. There's a way that you hear music, and there's a way you're listening to music.
Hmm.
It's listening to the words. You're
Yeah.
hearing the band,
Yeah.
but to me, the importance of the music now is listening to the emotion that you as the singer, as the performer, go seeing it live on for the
Hmm.
words. Because I'll tell you this, when you buy an album or you buy an LP, you buy a CD,
Yeah.
you get a great version.
Sure. Yeah.
But when you go live,
Yeah.
the raw emotions come out.
Yes. Yeah.
And
100%
that's something I always appreciate any singer who does, you know what I mean?
love that.
Because you hearing not just the music, but you're hearing the words the way it's supposed to be meant to be sang.
Yeah. I mean, that means a lot to me because, you're when we're in the process of writing these
Mm,
songs, like we're going through it and we're rewriting sometimes, changing one word, and that one word may just mean something slightly different to somebody, but to us, like that word matters,
mhm.
and so for someone to pay attention to the lyric and the story, and I mean, we didn't just, we're not flippantly like writing whatever,
No,
there's effort and intention with every part of
and
that.
it's part of either your story or one of your bandmates' stories or
Yeah.
something that happened as a band story. So, I mean, that's one thing I appreciate the most because again, I miss that type of music.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
miss I miss when the hip hop, this is where you could tell I'm getting older because it was the Notorious B.I.G. days, like how he described, you
Yeah.
know, old school Jay-Z,
Yeah.
not the new school version. A lot of the old school Dr. Dre, the old school hip hop, like
Man.
the early 90s,
Yeah.
maybe the 90s to maybe 2005
Mm-hmm.
is where it was the storytelling of music, even with, rock, classic rock,
Yeah.
metal. It just feels like everything after 2005 changed. Even grunge did.
I feel like uh story there was more space for a story to be kind of stretched out.
Hmm.
Um, Now everything's kind of, well, we use the term commercial for a reason. I mean, like things that are commercial it's like fast food versions of
Yeah.
these, you know?
Yes, I agree
Um,
with you 100%.
like, they're things that people can digest quickly,
Hmm.
process quickly.
Yep.
And I get that. I get that commercial aspect of things, but I think there are a lot of people who still want the whole story, the people
Hmm.
who want each part of the story, even,
Yes,
and it goes back to wanting to hear a whole album, when a whole album was written to create this long story and the
I
songs
agree.
were like chapters.
And that's something I kind of
Art.
miss. I,
Yeah.
I I really do miss that because
Yeah.
it means, like I said, you hear the raw emotions when you're live.
Yeah.
I really appreciate that. But, And don't get me wrong, I love the CD version too, but
Sure.
hearing a live concert is
I agree. I love the live atmosphere for
even if
sure.
you do a live album, you hear
You
that
do, yeah.
I mean, like AC/DC is one again, another great band, AC/DC,
Oh yeah, for
and
sure.
um, Thunderstruck, probably one of my other
Yeah.
favorite songs,
Yeah.
and I got to see them live too.
Oh wow.
So to hear and see like Hell's Bells,
Oh,
Highway to Hell,
oh
uh,
yeah, that room having
Thunderstruck,
like
it was like, oh, I could
yeah.
literally say Rock Mecca. The only thing that's in my bucket list is Rolling Stones, technically,
Oh
and you
man,
too.
we saw them when they came through Arizona. We
Oh,
got
nice.
tickets from somebody, and I was like, man, they're still like,
They're still rocking it.
oh my God, they didn't miss anything. We weren't missing anything. Like,
No, definitely not. I always hear that's one thing I hear they put on a great show. So,
absolutely, 100%. Yeah.
well,
So good.
without a doubt, well, I gotta say, Sheri, we did talk. We talked a lot of good stuff. You know what I mean? And I could really appreciate you, your husband, and your band.
Thank you.
One thing I will say is, you guys have this wonderful energy. The music's unreal. Your voice is so up there with everybody that I had mentioned earlier. Um, I feel like you guys are putting your own stamp on your own music, which is the great thing.
I appreciate that. I do.
And I will say this, we're all right. Well, at least I know I am, but I know my listeners, hopefully a ton of them, will can't wait to hear your new stuff coming out soon.
I'm excited to put it out. It's been a minute, and this is my heart is just so in all these new songs, and yeah, I just feel like I'm in a spot where we've been playing a lot of bigger events, and I've been
Mm,
stuff with NASCAR and just a
cool.
lot of really great stuff happening. So I feel like
I'm a NASCAR
it's
fan
kind of
guy.
the calling. Are you? Yeah.
Well, my favorite racer back in the day was Dale Earnhardt, and then I
Yeah.
really started following his son Dale Jr.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
And it's kind of funny you say that. I am a big Dale Earnhardt Jr. fan,
Nice. Yeah.
and
Well, this world is new to me.
oh, not for me. I've been watching this since oh God, 90 something, and it's kind of
Uh,
funny. I gotta have to bust these out because it's kind of funny. I got these by dumb luck, and where are they? Where are they? Is this it? Oh, where are you? So for me to get these cards mean a lot to me. So
oh, great about the cards, collecting cards. Yep.
yeah. So I'm gonna have to change my screen here because it just no, not blur. Let's just do none. There we go.
Yeah.
There you go. So you can see the background. But one of my favorite cards
Oh man, look at that.
was his number 8,
Ah,
Dale Jr., and it's signed by him too.
that's amazing.
So to get that with the red car is unreal.
Wow.
And then for me, this is like this is not numbered, but this one's number one, the first card out of 25.
Oh wow.
And this
Really?
means, yep.
Wow.
So I know he's retired. You know,
That's,
I he's been one of my favorite NASCAR. I actually have 3 diecast cars.
oh
Uh,
really?
yes, so I have 3 of them. One of them is when he won the I think it was the Pepsi 400 is the year that his father died.
Oh
I have that car.
wow.
I have the black number 8 car that he did a tribute to his dad.
Aw,
And then when he left DEI to go to Hendrix, I have the very first car.
man.
So I was a true fan,
That's
still
cool.
am a true fan, and been trying to get any kind of other thing for him,
Yeah,
which would be awesome. I've been trying to contact his people too, and
that's so cool though.
that that's that's harder to get through.
Yeah, I'm sure.
It's
But
not been easy.
but you can't give up. You
Oh
never
no,
know.
no. You know what? I took a little time from that too because I think they were gonna throw a computer at my head, I think one day. But
They were gonna cut you off.
yeah, but you know what? Just to get those 2 autographs it's one of those things that
Special.
I've watched NASCAR. I don't watch it as much as I used to when he retired.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I feel like he was the most popular NASCAR driver. I had the hats, I had the
Yeah.
Budweisers, I had the,
That's so fun.
I had the number 8, and when he left to go to Hendrick, and then I had to change everything to the 88, and then I'm like, you know, it
Well,
was
the
just,
whole community was so nice. Like, I met so many
oh
drivers.
yeah,
And then not long after that, I did some stuff with NHRA, and so that was new to me too.
hmm
The Art Association. Everybody was the drivers are so accessible at the NHRA. I mean,
oh
like you just meet everybody. Everybody's hanging out, and everybody's so nice. Like
yeah.
it was a cool experience.
That's my next goal is try to get somebody from the racing world on the show because that's
Yeah.
something I would love to tap into
Oh
because
my gosh.
I've followed NASCAR for a long time. Tony
Yeah.
Stewart,
Yep.
Dale Earnhardt Jr., Rusty Wallace, Dale Sr. until he passed away, Bubba Wallace now, Denny Hamlin. For me, I can go on and on
Yeah.
and on
It's a
and on.
it's a great community.
And,
It was
and,
awesome.
and that's something I'm trying as a North Jersey guy. It's not easy because they're
Yeah.
like, Jersey? I go, you'd be surprised. I am a NASCAR fan.
That's
I,
amazing. Well,
so
I mean, anything that like and I don't know how it will unfold, but I'll throw your name out there for
I
sure.
appreciate that. Well, we'll talk about that after the show in a
Yeah.
few minutes. But before we do sign off, Sherry, let
Yeah.
everyone know where they can find you actually.
Okay. Yeah. Well, my name, the spelling will be up there, I'm sure, but everybody always gets the spelling a little wrong. So SHARIROWE.
Mhm,
My website, sharirowe.com. That's the best place because, all the links are there. If you're an Instagram fan, all the links are there too. Link in
mhm.
bio, Linktree, whatever. But all the socials, I love connecting with everybody. Music, wherever you stream music, it's out there. Yeah, but the new music will drop the first single at the end of summer.
Okay.
And I'm excited about that one. It's called Too Good to Go. And
Ooh.
that one kind of dives into, I had a health scare and
Okay.
everything's great. But, it gave me this perspective. I've always been someone to really kind of appreciate the moment in life. My mom taught me that, just
hmm
kind of take it all in. Don't get too busy where you miss stuff. So I've always been that way, but this gave me perspective. I'm just so appreciative for this beautiful life.
hmm
And I'm so glad that I'm going to be here.
That's a great
I
thing,
love,
and we're happy too. I'll say that.
yeah. And so Too Good to Go. It's just, I've done it at a round and people have heard it and it's resonating with people. And I'm excited about that. So everything will start coming out at the end of summer.
All right. Well, we are looking forward to it. I know I am, and I cannot wait to hear it. So.
Thank you. Thanks for
Sure.
having me on the
Oh
show.
no, listen, I appreciate your time. I know we went a little over, but the conversations were so good
Fun.
that's why I don't mind sometimes if we go a little over because the conversations are so good.
Yeah.
Um,
I feel like I've known you forever.
well, exactly. That's how I make the show feel. Like,
Yeah.
as much as now my background's normal as the back of my basement here, but it's fine. But Sherry, I want to thank you and please tell your husband thank you too, because I know he's probably waiting on you now.
We're gonna have dinner after this. Yeah.
So you're gonna have some dinner. So, I really appreciate you taking the time to
Sure.
talk to me, talk about the band, talk about with the radio station too. We're definitely gonna highlight all that for you.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming on. I really appreciate it. And guys, like I always tell everyone, dreams come true. Sherry's another one.
It's true. Dreams
She
come true.
she's doing what she loves, and like I am too.
Yes.
I'd love to get the bigger scale now. That's the next step.
Yeah.
But still, I love what I do.
Yes, that's great.
So, Sherry, thank you again for your time. And like I always end the show, it's nothing but love, peace, and happiness. Good night, everybody.